Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Piofiore, Fated Memories, with Dante. We have finally officially gotten together and shared our first kiss and everything, possibly our first night, and we are waking up together. Well, actually, I think I was up earlier, and now I'm greeting Dante, because he's not a morning person, and apparently Lily is. But I am not. I'm there with you, Dante. I'd be a late riser. Some people don't talk to me before my coffee. I'm like, don't talk to me till noon or later. I used to work second shift because it paid $2 an hour more. Night shift only paid like $1 more an hour. So for a long time, I worked like 5:30 to 2 a.m. And then it just stuck as my regular schedule. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to the game here. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Good morning, Dante.
Yes, good morning.
We normally greeted each other good morning, but today we both spoke timidly. Oh, don't be embarrassed now. You should be more comfortable with each other now. Dante sat down at the table while I prepared breakfast, but it all felt so awkward. Oh, yesterday feels like a dream. There's only one way to get around this awkwardness. You gotta give him a kiss good morning. Dante quietly looked at me, hesitating, then began to speak.
I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. Perhaps it was due to my fever.
Oh, don't say that! No, that's like you're retracting your love statement. I was a bit shocked at what he said, but I tried to hide it by remaining calm. Oh, yes, I'm sure. Or does he not remember what he said? Oh, come on, I thought we were over this point. Don't do this to me, Dante. It's okay, I understand. So then, are you feeling better now? For some reason, Dante seemed rather displeased with my reply.
What do you mean you understand?
What, you want me to yell at you? I mean, you had a high fever, so you weren't feeling like yourself, right? That's okay. It can't be helped.
That's not. No, I worded myself incorrectly.
Huh? Get it straightened out. He looked straight into my eyes.
I love you.
There we go. Reaffirmation. His words were straightforward and simple. My heart was racing again. You... Dante had a cloudy look on his face, seeing that I was unable to respond. He then spoke with an apologetic tone.
Lily, are you upset? Forgive me.
What's there to forgive? What, do you think I would be mad that he was in love with me? No, I'm not upset. I felt like I had seen every possible side to him since yesterday. It's been up and down and all around. So, oh, breakfast is ready. Let's eat. Yeah, nothing like changing the subject. I clumsily urged him toward our breakfast. Our simple but awkward conversation helped ease the tension in the air. Alright, let's go into the meanwhile story. Day Star, which is from others.
I suppose my turn is coming up.
I looked up at the sky. The blue sky hid the brilliance of the stars. Even then, I could hear their words. Time is of the essence. I need to let them know. Who? I have no idea who that was. I'm sorry, I might have been reading that in a completely wrong voice, but I was guessing it was Orlok? So I'll just leave it at that for now. Our simple but awkward conversation helped ease the tension in the air. And did we get around to talking about other things? We just finished our simple breakfast. We spoke again from where we left off yesterday.
So, about each organization's standing. The Visconti is holding neutral ground now. It doesn't seem as though they will intervene in our affairs anytime soon.
I see. That's good to hear. If the Falzone has to face both the Visconti and the Lauschu, the situation could take a turn for the worse.
The problem now is the Lauschu. Yang said that he wanted in on the blessings from the relic.
What are these blessings? I wouldn't think that we'd even be able to use them right now, since the Key Maiden hasn't been used to unlock it.
Simple. We want to receive the blessings that this land has been given as well. It's not going to do me any favors if you all die now.
Was he serious back then?
I'm not sure. I don't know how much the Lauschu actually know about the relic.
How much do you actually know about the relic?
He also mentioned something unusual.
You mean about how he needs us alive? I wonder what he meant by that, and what kind of blessings come from the relic. All good questions.
Do
you know, Dante? Dante thought for a moment, then spoke again.
Apparently Nicola didn't want me told about this part, but he's not here now. According to legend, the sacred relic is said to bring blessings onto this land in the form of miracles.
I haven't seen any miracles yet.
Those of prominence who owned the relic used it to prove their right to rule.
But nobody actually owns it right now, do they?
They professed they were chosen by God to receive his blessings.
If that's true, then the relic must have been sought after by so many throughout the years. So, Dante, do they say what kind of miracles are bestowed by Berlone's relic?
I don't know.
And since it's not actually under one person's ownage, is it just supposed to be helping the town?
The popular legend of the Holy Grail suggests the purging of illness, but...
I wasn't sure whether I should even ask this, but there's something I wanted to ask you. Why is Berlone hiding the sacred relic's existence? If it were made public, I'm sure the town would receive a number of pilgrims. Yeah, but also a number of thieves trying to take it. More people would mean that Berlone could thrive as a bigger and wealthier town. It seems counterintuitive to hide the relic from the public. I recalled that they mentioned the relics were widely known and seen as objects of worship. Dante and Nicola had discussed it.
That's the problem. The relic here has been kept secret from the public. Which is why the church has made sure to keep the kingdom of Italy away from this town.
The church watches over this town because the relic needs to be hidden? Must have some kind of power that would be problematic in the wrong hands. What did this all mean? I looked at Dante, waiting for him to speak. Trying to decide if he should tell me or not. After a moment of silence, Dante sighed and proceeded somewhat reluctantly. Trust me, it's better for both of us if I know.
Do you remember when Yang told me that we were the keepers of the grave?
Come to think of it. Yes, I do.
The keepers of the grave. How delightful.
That's what Yang said when Dante came to rescue me.
And that's what the Falzone family was called long ago. And that's about all I can say.
Oh, come on! You can't say anything more than that? I nodded and accepted his response, seeing that he was obviously unhappy speaking about it. I wonder if the grave refers to an open person's grave that can't be made public. Ah, that could be. As I pondered over what that title meant, I continued on, changing the subject. So, the Falzone has been watching over Berlone's sacred relic? Doesn't that mean that the relic belongs to you and the Falzone family?
No. or simply watchers and guardians of the relic in this land. Yeah, like security guards.
Well, if you did have the rights to the relic, would you be able to get its blessing?
I pose, in a sense. That's probably why Yang is trying to obtain the rights to it. But in order to get the relic, one would first need to break the seal.
Which involves me in some manner, though we're not sure if they just need a little blood or all of it. Like Pirates of the Caribbean. Which means Yang won't kill us yet.
I can only assume, but I don't fully believe in this blessing that the relic supposedly bestows, despite being head of the Falzone.
So he still doesn't completely believe it either. He acknowledges the fact that it could be.
I doubt that Yang, from another country, is pious enough to believe in it either.
So, could Yang be looking for something else? Maybe there's another use for the relic. If we don't even know the use in the first place, how can we say another use?
That may be a possibility. He could negotiate with the church and trade for its riches.
All I knew was that something terrible would happen if Yang got a hold of the relic. Can't you gain rightful ownership of the relic before Yang does?
That's...
Regardless of whether Yang uses it for profit or abuses it for its blessing, he'd still bring about casualties to the town.
I can't deny that. It's an inevitability as long as the Laoshu is here.
Well then, why don't you obtain the rights to the relic before Yang does? Dante could receive its blessings or use it to bargain with the church, because it's kind of dishonorable. Kind of goes against the whole purpose of his family. Orlok said that the Falzone won't receive any more support from the church, right?
So take the relic for yourself?
I shall leave you with this warning. The church will not wait for much longer.
We will not continue to offer the protection we have previously bestowed.
You could use the relic in exchange for the church's support again.
I understand what you're saying. It makes sense, but the Falzone are merely guardians. There's no way I could exploit it in that fashion.
See, honor. Generations of guarding the relic made it difficult for Dante to abuse it. But Dante... Yeah, I'm pretty sure his ancestors would be displeased. Your status as guardian is only because of Berlone's relic, isn't it? If you lose the relic, you'll also lose your purpose in guarding it.
I suppose you're right.
It would mean he's failed. He closed his eyes to think. After a moment, he opened them again with resolve.
The Falzone family, the mission assigned to me after generations, this town. I want to protect them, and you, Lily. That said, I don't have much time. I need to do what I can for now.
I could tell that any reluctance he had was now gone from his expression. I was happy to see him filled with spirit again, and asked another question out of curiosity. Come to think of it, do you know where the relic is hidden?
Yes, but...
How can he guard it if he doesn't know where it is? But?
Do you remember I said how we needed 2 things to break the seal?
Us, you and me. Yes, something about Falzone blood and the Key Maiden. Dante was referring to me.
The problem is, aside from that information, I have no clue how to break the seal.
Few drops of blood, like I said. Probably, I imagine.
It would be easy if all we needed to do was go where the relic is hidden. I'm not certain that what I'm saying even sounds real, even if it is a secret item.
Well, if we go there, we can look for a mechanism. Dante had a point. I pondered over the idea, then looked again at Dante. Dante? I was hoping that you might share a few more details about what the Falzone line has been told through the years.
Right. It's said that the Falzone family is descended from a particular saint.
Oh? Which saint?
The Falzone was commissioned to guard the sacred relic, and legend states that the saint was granted the key to heaven.
The key to heaven?
And the seal to the relic can be broken only when the key maiden and another who carries the blood of the saint come together.
Come together? In what way?
That's about all I know.
I see. Well, why don't we start by going where the relic lies?
What?
Dante looks surprised. Oh, come on! Don't tell me this hasn't occurred to you at all, that if we go there and take a look at it, maybe the mechanism is actually pretty obvious on how to work. I mean, we certainly won't get anywhere by staying put. Not that I think we'd solve everything just by going, but I'm sure we can find a lead once we're there. If we can somehow break the seal with only our presence, even here. So you'll be like, oh yeah, you two. The saint and the key maiden, I shall open. Dante had a blank look on his face. I guess he didn't expect me to say that. Dante? I peered at Dante's face to see what was wrong.
Simply amazing, Lily.
Did I say something? His sudden laughter caught me off guard.
I'm sorry, you're right. I should just go there and see if we can get the relic. Lucky us.
Has he never even been there at all? So you agree? Dante smiled and nodded.
We've kept watch over the place for ages, but hardly anyone ever goes there. I don't recall reading any records of a key maiden visiting, so I suppose it's worth a shot. It's strange. I feel like my mind is open to all options, simply by being with you.
I'm opening his mind. I guess he was just always so busy with family obligations before he never really had time to think other things. It's got to be really busy being a mafia boss, I imagine. I just say what I'm thinking, that's all. I was a bit embarrassed by his words, but I mustered the strength to express my honest feelings. I'm happy I can be of help to you, Dante. Oh, I better press that thing the meanwhile before I miss it. And so, alright, so we're going to this meanwhile flattery story. Check on who's being flattered by whom. This is so boring. Faye's dead, and Yang isn't around. I took a look around the empty table and grabbed a dumpling. Yang told me to stay put or die, but it's really boring here. You seem bored. I didn't expect you to be this way just because you lost your partner. What? I'm not in the mood to play with you, Lee. Who is Lan? Is this a new person, I guess? I just wanted to cheer you up. I can give you something to get you high, you know? No thanks. I don't need that stuff. I refused Lee's offer. I could tell my voice didn't sound as energetic as usual. Lonely without your partner, aren't you? This isn't bad stuff, considering it's a game. No need to be reliant on it either. Think of it as something with which to pass the time. I looked up and glared at Lee's nagging face. And so, we decided to head to the ruins together, to the place where the relic was said to lie. Finally, Dante contacted Leo to send someone to pick us up. Make sure you guys aren't followed. It was crucial to ride in a car now that the townsfolk were riled up from the news. Can't have them recognizing us walking on the streets. We got into the car that arrived and headed to the entrance of the forest. It's not even in the city. We walked through the woods to the ruins where the sacred relic was sealed. I have a bad feeling we're being followed. I've never been here before. Really? This forest isn't very far from town. I was told as a child that the forest was home to wolves.
Ah, well, there are wolves along the edge of the forest, closest to the road. They'll come around here, so consider this place safe.
Is it the relic? Does the relic keep the wolves away? That actually looks pretty good in the woods here. Really? I suppose there's a lot more that I still don't know about the area. The moment I finished speaking...
Wolves?
Ah! I tripped over a root and felt myself losing balance. And Dante's gonna catch me? Do I get a picture?
Watch out.
Dante wrapped his arms around my body to hold me up. He brought a hand down to my back to support me while using his other hand to hold mine. Aw, no picture. I felt my heart beat quickly, seeing his azure eyes flickering so close to mine.
Are you all right? Did you hurt your foot? Don't push yourself here.
Thank you. I'm fine.
I see. Well, good. I'm glad.
I'm glad I won't be limping along on our little journey to the relic.
We're almost there. Let's keep going.
Dante removed his hand from my back, but his other hand was still holding my hand. My heart beat even faster than before. Aww. We finally arrived at the ruins, said to house the sacred relic. This place, I think Sister Sophia told me about this place before. I mean, it's slightly ruined, but it actually looks like it's in pretty good shape for ruins, surprisingly. She mentioned that there was an old church over the hills outside of town.
The Falzone family has kept watch over and maintained this place for generations.
I didn't know that. I'd heard rumors that Death lived here, but I wasn't scared with Dante around. They capitalized Death as if there's a person named Death here. He held my hand and slowly walked into the ruins. The inside wasn't as bad as it appeared from the outside, likely because of the upkeep Dante mentioned. I didn't think it looked bad on the outside either. Aside from a crumbling altar, there wasn't much else inside. Is the relic here? I'm sure it's hidden. Secret door around here somewhere. We both looked curiously around the area, in awe and amazement. Dante, have you been here before?
Just once. My father brought me here when he first told me about the Fezzane's mission. Well, let's take a closer look around here. We should keep an eye out for anything unusual.
I guess he's never been inside then. Right. You would think they would pass that information down through the Falzone family. We both began looking around in search of anything interesting. Over here? No. Here? There? We pored over the altar and the walls, checking every nook and cranny. Is there a loose brick somewhere? We came up with nothing after thoroughly examining all the accessible areas. We touched and pushed things, but to no avail. Good. I'm glad they mentioned touching and pushing things, because that's definitely what I would be doing.
I should have expected as much. After all, it would have been too convenient.
Can you think of any phrases or words they told you about getting in here, Dante? Dante frowned a bit and gave a sigh. I could tell he was slightly disappointed.
I wasn't even informed of where in these ruins the sacred relic was sealed.
Yeah, why wasn't that passed down?
Perhaps it's buried deep underground, though I don't see any markings here.
Is there a grave in the area? We must be missing something. I tried to recall everything we had talked about, searching for an idea. Come to think of it,
We've kept watch over the place for ages, but hardly anyone ever goes there. I don't recall reading any records of a key maiden visiting, so I suppose it's worth a shot.
Dante's words sparked a thought in my mind. Dante, You said there was no record of the key maiden coming here, right? Is this record something that exists within your family? Oh, we had to go back to check the record?
Yes, there's a book in my office that has a record of what my ancestors have written. It's not something anyone can access. Only the head of the family can read it.
And that would be you, right? Maybe there's some kind of clue in there about the relic?
I doubt it. I've read through it a number of times, and it seems to be missing some important information.
Maybe it's just coded.
For one thing, there's no record of the initial establishment of the Falzone family.
I see.
I've been told before my father that if something unexpected were to happen, a disciple would appear to help the Falzone family.
Sounds like Orlok's not doing his job right. Wait, when you say disciple, do you mean...
Yes, the disciple appeared in front of us to try and take you away.
Was he being covert with his nudgings?
It seems like he's saying lay low for now, since he doesn't have orders from the church. But he'll make his move the moment he does. I doubt we can rely on him to help us out.
There was no hint in sight. Keep looking then. We couldn't hide our disappointment of having no real leads to work from. But then...
I see. It seems that you are not ready. Who's there?
Dante reacted to the voice and moved in front of me with his gun out. Show yourself, quickly. As if answering Dante's question, a silhouette slowly emerged from the shadows. Oh, somebody new. He looks pretty young. Oh, there's eyes though. There's such a beautiful light green. Is he a disciple? But he said we're not ready yet, so I don't think he's going to help us. His blonde hair wisped against his white clothes. He looked young, almost childlike.
A kid.
Do you live here, kid? Dante mumbled in bewilderment, but showed no signs of lowering his gun. The young boy's tone of voice and behavior implied someone of age and experience. There's a reason it hasn't reacted. Strange given the situation. Especially considering you already have the key. What? The disciple is also not working as planned. Things were so much simpler back then. Maybe it was systemizing the church's practices to adapt with the times. So the church is a little off point right now? The young boy continued speaking calmly without paying any heed to Dante. How rude. May I ask who you are? Ah, that's right. Where are my manners? Nice to meet you, Dante Falzone, and this generation's key maiden, Liliana Adornato. He knows who we are? My name is Emilio. I'm a member of the church. Just a member? You seem to be more than that. Emilio! Dante frowned at the mention of the church and seemed more cautious than ever. The young boy didn't seem fazed. However, he spoke in the same tone as before. I know it's difficult to believe, especially given the disciple incident, but I am not your enemy. I'd appreciate it if you would hear me out. I have no intention of harming you. He showed a smile, as if you weren't a threat to him, and continued. The church isn't as unified as you think. Yeah, I kind of picked up on that. We have our share of internal strife. It's the same as it is here in Borlone.
The disciple told us that the church has abandoned us.
Well, a sect of it at least.
Are you telling me that cutting us off and siding with the Lao Shu wasn't the church's collective will?
Exactly. Hard to believe, isn't it? Only a certain faction led by someone in the church is supporting the Lao Shu. And why does that particular faction have so much power? The Pope is only concerned about one thing. That is, whether the Falzone family is and will continue to function as a guardian. Well, sure, that's a concern, but I mean, seriously, why would he think that a criminal faction for hire would be a better custodian? Doesn't think that's going to be a problem? Emilio gave a gentle smile and looked straight at Dante. Unless they're planning to get rid of the Lao Shu after they use them to top the Falzones for some reason. Dante Falzone, I'm assuming you came here for the sole purpose of seizing the sacred relic. You probably wish to use it to regain the church's support in exchange.
And if so...
Dante's eyes were still narrowed, but Emilio responded with the calm maturity. I praise you for making the right move. Securing the relic as successor of the Falzone family will prove your right to the power. The church won't be able to deny your role, thereby alleviating our Pope's concerns. That would help in turn as well. Extinguishing conflict is a wonderful thing.
So they wouldn't be mad that it seems like he's trying to keep the relic for himself and not share it with the church, maybe?
But we came here and found nothing that would lift the seal, or even the seal itself.
Was the lore told to the Falzone correct? Is the relic really here in these ruins?
Ruins is such a crude thing to say. Church or sacred site is a more apt term. Well, all we see is ruins because we haven't found the secret entrance yet. But with the state of the place, I can't blame you. Emilio pouted a bit at the church's condition, then returned to the subject. The Key Maiden isn't herself complete. She cannot fulfill her role at the present.
I'm incomplete. I don't feel that way. What's missing?
Huh? I hesitantly asked Emilio what I was missing.
Exactly what I just asked.
What am I missing then? You need the 8th sacrament to break the seal.
Sacrament?
Huh? Aren't there only 7 sacraments? Okay, at that point, I'm lost because I don't know anything about Catholicism. Indeed. I'm sorry, I don't quite understand. Could you explain what this 8th one is?
I'm going to have to look this up after I finish the video.
I'd be more than happy to, but this is as far as I can get involved. Emilio gently smiled, then spoke clearly as if delivering a prophecy. Return here when the mark is prominent.
So my mark is going to get more distinctive once I've found the 8th sacrament?
And God be with you. And with that, he turned his back to us and walked away in silence.
Dante looks super surprised.
His unusual presence and odd grace had us frozen for a moment.
That was all just a bit unexpected.
Alright, well, we'll stop this video here.
This was my warm-up video for the day, so I'm not sure if it's going to be a little short or not once I cut out all my stumblings.
So, I hope to see you in that next video, or maybe some of my other ones. And I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.